All right, I'm losing daylight here, but I just got off a client call and it gave me a really good idea for a video. So I thought I would just make it happen. So, you probably see the title of this video is All Plan, No Results. Here's my fix. So I got off a call. I got on the call with this client, and she was kind of saying to me, like, listen, I'm actually really good at planning. I have solid plans. Look at my Asana. I've got this checklist here. And she showed me her plan for last month, which was epic. And honestly, really well thought out and had links and due dates and all of the things that make a really great plan. And so we were talking through the plan, and she was really eager to show me because you could tell that she enjoys planning and she's good at it. But then we got to the point in the call where I said, all right, so what here, where do you put the stuff that's actually finished or what you accomplished from this plan? And this is when, the call kind of took a turn because she basically told me, okay, here's what I got done. And it was maybe like a quarter of what was in her plan. So even the best laid plans, sometimes don't work out. And so we were kind of, debriefing on some of the reasons that happened. But the main problem that I saw is that she had this epic plan. And within about a week and a half of the month with her epic plan, she became burnt out and kind of scrapped the whole thing. So she had this amazing idea. She had these big goals. She even had like a course she was taking to accomplish that goal, blah, blah, blah. Everything was there. And in theory, it should have worked out. But she got overwhelmed, burnt out, and basically threw the plan out the window and then just kind of kept up, which is great. Okay, her business is still running. She still made a couple sales last month. Everything is okay. But that's not really growth, right? That's not the direction that she wanted. She actually had bigger goals for herself. So the problem that I saw here was not that something, really went wrong in her life and she needed to put everything on the back burner, because that does happen and that's fine. But this is a pattern for her. And so what we actually did is we went through the plan and eliminated about 50% of everything that was on that plan, actually probably more. Yeah, probably more than 50% of what was in her plan for last month. And we rescheduled it for this month. And what I really like to do is to actually, eliminate as many things as possible from your plan and make it almost inevitable for you to hit it. So I think there's actually two parts here. Number one, when you're planning, especially if you like planning and you can get really into it, make your plan and then go back and ask yourself, is this realistic in the time frame that I'm, planning it for? Or should I make this one plan actually for the entire quarter or for, the next 6 months or whatever it is? And the second thing that you want to do is you want to put in place your own contingency plan. So if you know your patterns, if you don't know your patterns, start like keeping an eye on yourself and see like what tends to happen. She sort of started to pick up on some of the things that she already does. For example, overwhelm herself and then get burnt out. And then she kind of has some tendencies that she goes and relies on when she's burnt out, right? Maybe you have those things too, but let's say one of your like self-sabotage patterns is, that you tend to plan too much, to the point where you don't end up going on social, you don't do your content plan, you don't really show up at all. And so you kind of go dark and hide behind the scenes and work on projects. And that's great because maybe you're getting a lot done, but you notice that when you do that, you don't get a lot of people reaching out, you don't get a lot of people booking calls, you don't make as many sales. So what you want to do is put into place a contingency plan where you say, all right, so if I know I have a month where I've got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes and my tendency is to kind of start hiding, what can I do? What can I put in place that's going to help me still show up? Maybe it's batching a couple of videos. Maybe it's making one day a week where you film socials and you schedule those for the whole next week. Or maybe it's that every Wednesday you do Work With Me Wednesday. So, even if you don't show up at all on Wednesday, you're kind of sharing your life and you're reaching out to your clients and stuff like that. So there's just an example of, how you could overcome that self-sabotage pattern. But there's so many different ones. Maybe one of your things that could go wrong is like, maybe you have kids and maybe it's going to be another lockdown and I'm going to have to homeschool my kids, and then how the heck am I going to get any of this stuff done? What can you put in place that even if the worst happens, which is that you have to homeschool your kids, you'll still be able to follow through on that plan? What can you put in place? I'm sure there's something. I'm sure there's a contingency plan that you can put into place, like a lever you can pull, and if it's necessary, you pull it. If it's not, then great. So start thinking about those two things. Number one, how can you eliminate as many things as possible from your list so that you have a simpler plan to hit your target? Number two, what's the contingency plan that you need to put in place in case you do start to notice yourself self-sabotaging or some of your like procrastination patterns come up? What can you put in place to prevent those things from happening and to support you if they do start happening? All right. That's how you can make sure that you don't just have a big plan and no results, but you have a nice, effective plan and all the results that you want. I hope you find that as helpful as I do, and I'll chat with you soon.